So this is originally a Platoon that I missed when it was launched, but thankfully today it was actually quite affordable, so I decided to buy it and it's time to check it out. Of course, I'm talking about the Chieftain Mk.3 Premium Platoon. I think this is the first seasonal offer Platoon that was added to the game. Now the Chieftain Mk.3 has a 120mm main gun. It is very slow, but the armor is decent. The turret armor on this vehicle is really good. The main gun is firing a PDS, has smoke shells, and it has hash. And one thing that I have to mention that is applicable to all of the vehicles, well, to the first two vehicles at least, the APDS ammo is not that good. The Conqueror is a heavy tank, has a good turret, a very big weak spot to high explosive on top of the turret, mainly the commander's hatch and the lower plate. The main gun has a lot of penetration, but I've bounced a lot of times with this vehicle. As I mentioned before, the APDS shell on this is not really the best. And the accuracy is my main complaint about the Conqueror. It knows to completely miss for no reason. And then there is the Striker, which is a very interesting ATGM box, has the missile launcher at the back. A very odd vehicle. I personally like the Striker. The way it works is actually a little bit weird. I would say the camera angle is definitely the main drawback of this vehicle. You can't really be using it like the classic ATGM Rat, as you will see today, since I'll be playing all of the vehicles. I'll be playing all of the vehicles that you see here, because why not? So let's start with the first one, with the Chieftain. Now, as I mentioned before, this is not the fastest vehicle, not the fastest medium tank. It's also not slow. You should definitely avoid any fast vehicles up close, because they will outmaneuver you. But you can easily take advantage of the turret, and if you can go hold down with this vehicle, it is usually very decent. However, at the end of the day, your turret can still be penetrated, so you have to be careful with that. And well, speaking of the APDS shell, as I mentioned before, the APDS shell is not really my favorite on this Platoon. It does destroy when you directly hit the ammo, but in most cases it might take a couple hits in order to destroy the enemy vehicle. Doesn't matter if you really want to aim. It's honestly like 50-50 when it comes to the ammo detonations. If you aim at the ammo and if you hit the ammo, it can blow up immediately, but at the same time it might not blow up immediately. So that's one thing I don't really like about this APDS on this particular vehicle. But it will work. After all, it has a very tough. There you go. It bounced the chonk turret, which if you can get used to it, I guess it's going to work well. And there goes the accuracy again. I aimed at the hull, but it hit the track. So honestly, the overall accuracy is like weird on this Platoon. I do like this Platoon. I would say definitely is decent, but from all the tier 7 premiums and special offer premiums that I have used so far, I would say this is definitely the most inaccurate one, and definitely not exactly the worst performing one penetration wise, but definitely the worst accuracy wise. And if only the Conqueror's gun was a little bit more accurate, and if the shell was actually doing a little bit more damage. I mean, there's APDS shells in the tier, like for example the Term 3 APDS shell, which honestly does destroy very efficiently. Doesn't suffer from the same problem that the Chieftain and the Conqueror suffer from. But the Term doesn't have armor, so I guess might be a balancing factor. Could be a balancing factor, but in any case, that's pretty much. I mean, that's the only complaint that I really have about this platoon: the ammo being weird and the accuracy of the main guns being weird. But everything else besides that, I would say, is pretty decent. And, well, despite me complaining so much about the Chieftain Mk.3, there we go, 7 destroyed vehicles. I'm fairly sure bad luck also has its play here. It's not the first vehicle that I started with a bad start, and then eventually I have gotten used to it, and then it started to do well. As I like to say before, there's a good chance that, you know, eventually I might start to enjoy the whole platoon a lot more, but when I go to the Conqueror, you will see what I'm talking about. The Conqueror can bounce very thinly armored vehicles, and I think that's mainly because of the way the APDS shell works, at least for these vehicles, for the Conqueror at least. The APDS shell knows to bounce, and that's honestly weird when you have nearly 500 millimeters of penetration, or in this case 488, but you know, it's still, I would say it's still pretty weird. Well, 8 destroyed vehicles. So the Chieftain is definitely not bad. It's honestly not bad. It's a decent medium tank. And since we have the current ongoing Black Friday, that's basically why I bought it, because I actually bought the Churchill 1 alongside the Chieftain, because I always wanted the Churchill 1. It is a super rare vehicle, so that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted it. It's a super rare vehicle, and I like super rare vehicles. Well, that was the first battle with the first vehicle. Let's go and take the... Actually, let's go with the Striker. Why not? I want to show you how this vehicle works. It doesn't have any mechanical parts on the missile launcher. It's a static missile launcher, so you can't aim with it. It's stationary, like the main gun on the STRV 103C and 103A. And the way its ATGMs work is in a very unique way. I kind of like the way how unique this is. The missile is being launched upwards, and then you guide it. Now, I would love if the camera was placed a little bit above in the commander's viewpoint, because it is not really... This vehicle is not really able to do the same thing that IT-1 can do. This vehicle is not able to do what the M901 can do. It's definitely not what the Raketniakpanzer can do. Mostly because the camera, the aim on these vehicles is pretty much on top, in the middle of the ATGM, so you can have that top view. On this vehicle, the aim is positioned at the front, which is a little bit bad, because You would have to go forward, expose the vehicle in order to see where you want to launch the missile. Now the thing that you can do with the striker, you can actually use the third-person camera and aim that way. That's pretty much what I would recommend. That's pretty much what I would say. It is the preferred way to play the striker, to be played in third person. That's the preferred way of how I would be primarily using the striker. From third person, from cover, launch the ATGM from the side and then guide the ATGM to the target. It actually is able to completely guide the missile from around the corner, which is not something that all the ATGM boxes are able to do. So this is one of the unique things about the striker. It has two ATGMs though. The primary ATGM, the first one, 525mm of penetration. The second one has 700mm of penetration. It does do phenomenal damage when it penetrates. It's a very powerful missile. 170mm is the caliber of the missile. So I believe this vehicle will be very fun when we get realistic battles added to the game, since being able to basically hide the vehicle in a bush or something similar would actually help a lot with the survivability of this little ATGM box. The main problem with this vehicle is, again, the camera angle, and that's pretty much the only thing that I can complain about this ATGM box. You really need to know where to position this vehicle, and you really need to know how much to expose. And most importantly, this vehicle has a very unique playstyle, very unique way of launching the ATGMs. Oh look, a chunk, oh look, chunk destroyed. Well, let me go and capture the next zone, and then I will actually very soon I will demonstrate you how evil this vehicle potentially can be, because you literally will be able to shoot beyond any cover. No cover will be, you know, if you are quite skilled with this vehicle, nothing can escape it. Just have to manage. Look, a rocket ricochet and tracked. Let me aim downwards, and there we go. This is absolutely insane that this vehicle is able to do that. And this is basically how you should be using this vehicle in the third person, because first person, yeah, because of the camera position, it's not going to work. And if it has no armor, by the way, any high explosive impact, anything can and will destroy this vehicle. Can you hide this vehicle in this position here? Well, technically yes, but third person aiming is required. First person would first person would not work. First person would not work because you wouldn't be able to see the enemy, because of the way the camera is positioned. Oh my god, my throat just gave up on me. My throat just gave up on me. Okay, it's getting better. Okay, happens occasionally when I completely lose my voice, and almost happened today. Third person aiming, and there we go. The ATGM is actually not too slow, but not too fast. I would say it's fast enough to catch, I guess. It's fast enough to be fast, it's slow enough for you to be able to maneuver around. And finally, let's go to the Conqueror. Now, this is probably my least favorite vehicle of this platoon, mainly because of that accuracy on this main gun. On paper, it is very powerful. I would say probably the highest penetrating APDS and highest penetrating APDS 122mm main gun in tier 7, but the accuracy, that's a thing that I really dislike on the Conqueror. Maybe I will give you an example here in this battle, maybe not, but we will find out that very soon. It is stabilized. It is stabilized. The main gun on the Chieftain is also stabilized, but the APDS shell has very poor accuracy on, at least on this vehicle. Now, if it had like explosive AP ammo, like APBC explosive, it probably would be my go-to ammo type. If it had APDS shells, that would be pretty amazing, but at the same time, that would be really broken, so obviously this vehicle is not going to get that, and there we go, it bounced. Looking at the X-ray camera, there, I was a bit confused at what happened with the T-95. But eventually that's one shell going in. Thankfully it's able to punch through the armor. I mean, on a flat surface it goes through without a problem. But the second it impacts just a slightly angled surface, the shell knows to shatter, the shell knows to bounce. Basically it does everything that you don't want the shell to do. Did you see the accuracy, by the way? That's what I'm talking about. That's the accuracy. I aim at the hull, and guess what? And guess where the shell goes? The shell goes right in the ground. And that's the reason why I don't really... That is pretty much the reason why this is not my favorite vehicle of this platoon, because the gun is not reliable at all. T-95 and... Okay, that was a good hit. I would actually say that was a lucky hit. That's definitely a lucky hit. Because I do have lag, obviously. And the T-95 was moving all over the place, so it was honestly 50-50 that it would hit. It did, thankfully.
We have most of the zones.
The Yak Tiger, and pretty much zero damage. Even though it should have detonated the ammo, it did hit the ammo if you were paying attention to the X-ray camera, it just did yellow damage to the ammo. So yeah, classic APDS moment right there. And zero damage over penetration should have detonated the ammo there, but it didn't.
Victory is near.
And now let me try to shoot the turret. Now it works. Okay. Did shoot a PDS shell in the turret and it works. So basically, that's what you could expect, what you can expect from the Conqueror. Again, I'll be playing this platoon a bit more often. You know, I will give the vehicle, and mainly I'll give them the main gun and the ammo the benefit of the doubt, because again, bad luck is a thing, and it wasn't the first time that I played the vehicle, and then, you know, when I played for the first time, first day was bad, and then the next day and afterwards was doing really well. So we will see. I'll be playing this platoon a bit more often, just, you know, to see if this was just bad luck, or if the main gun is really as inaccurate as I have seen today and as I have experienced today. But we are nearing the end of the video, and obviously the question, well, which Black Friday platoon should you buy? Honestly, right now when I look at all the vehicles, BMP-1 definitely. The BMP-1 is a must-have. That's one that I can definitely recommend. So the BMP-1, maybe if you like the Chieftain, get the Chieftain. But at the end of the day, do tell me what you think about the Black Friday discounts that we have. Which vehicle did you buy? I bought several of them. Well, two of them, two platoons actually. The Churchill one and this one. And maybe I'll try the Churchill. We will see. But with that being said, that was the Chieftain platoon. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe. And as always, I'll see you next time.